everybody. Welcome to Read It Again Bookstore. We're excited to welcome Jillian Neal to our online author series. Hi.
Hey. Hi, how are y'all?
Now, Jillian is a customer at our store, and she lives really close to here. So this is kind of weird that we're doing this when I know you live right around the corner.
That is true.
Now, you have some exciting news. Today is the release day for your new
Standing
book.
outside the fire, yes.
That's exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, if anybody has any comments or questions, go ahead and ask them. And as they come in, I will put them in the video. So feel free to just jump right in. Because, Jillian, I know you have a really good, strong fan base. Because I belong to that group.
Oh, thank you. I adore my fans. They are the best. They never fail to show up for me. I feel so loved. I feel so blessed that they love my characters the way that they do. So I am endlessly thankful, and I know that I couldn't do what I do and what I love to do without them. So huge thank you to everyone and everyone that bought Standing Outside the Fire today.
Well, let's talk about it. So tell me about your book.
So this is the second book in the Holder County series, contemporary Western romance. And this book sort of took me by storm. It actually wasn't the book I planned to write second in the series, and what the best laid plans. Jamie Holder just sort of took over my entire world and was like, no, you're going to tell my story. So, and he had a story to tell, so it was really good. It has all my favorite tropes. So it's best friends to lovers and runaway bride, and it was so fun to write, and it broke my heart and then put it all back together better than it was before. So I'm super excited for people to read it.
So we do have a question. Was the title inspired by the Garfield song?
It was. All of the books in the Holder County series will have country music titles. And almost all my books are inspired by a song. That's generally the first time I have the idea for the book. So it absolutely was inspired by the song. And I think that if you read the book, you'll see how it all works out in the song. But that is the plan.
What's the continuing? Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
What's the continuing theme between this one and this group of books?
So the Holder family is a huge cattle ranch family in Oklahoma. And so all of the books will be about one of the kids in that generation. Might even go back and tell some stories of the other Holders eventually. But so right now it is the Holder family, which established Holder Ranch and then Holder County in Oklahoma. You also have the Holder County Fire Department in this book, so potential to sort of branch off into that as well. But it's all in Holder County, Oklahoma. But right now we're doing the Holder boys. So
boys.
Okay. He's the younger brother of Ford Holder, who was Oklahoma Sky, which was the first book.
Another one here.
Thank you so much. I'm excited for you too.
So I read that you can't leave a bookstore without buying a book. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, by the way.
Which you love.
So, who are some of your favorite authors? Who do you buy no matter what? Like, even if it's like a $30 hardback.
I honestly, okay, so Lisa Kleypas is my all-time favorite unicorn. Yeah, I buy her books on release day, have bought them on release day since, I remember saving babysitting money to go buy Lisa's books. But so absolutely, like, I've read them all. I'll never, it doesn't matter what she charges. Oh gosh, Rowling. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. In fact, I think I probably paid more than that for the British editions of Harry Potter.
I have a couple of those too. Yeah. I think I have a couple German copies too. I'm never going to read them.
No,
but they're just cool to have.
Yeah, I love them. I didn't want to break the spine, so I looked through them, but I've not read them. Yeah, but I mean, I am a big historical reader, even though I write contemporary. So I typically leave with some historical.
Well, I know you're always in buying books for your kids too.
Yes,
and they're picky. They like specific titles, specific authors.
Very.
Yeah.
I have one who loves sci-fi fantasy, and Sarah J. Maas is his absolute favorite right now. I have another one who he's more into like kind of I don't know, whatever topic he's sort of into at that moment. So he's like a big Doctor Who fan, and it cycles through. So I'm always looking for, and I'm always trying to get him to read more because he has a lot of learning challenges. So yeah, if I see something I think will catch his eye, I'll grab it.
Well, who were your favorite authors as a kid?
Judy Blume. I mean, all the classics.
Didn't she?
Yeah, that was Beverly Cleary, I think.
That was Beverly
Cleary. I read all the Babysitter's Club. I read all Sweet Valley High. I never didn't have a book in my hands. And then my best friend in middle school handed me a romance novel one day and said, "You have to read this." And I was thoroughly sold. Never went back.
So when I was a kid, we used to summer on an RV, and we would travel all over the country on an RV. Right. So my mom, she used to read the series romance, like the Harlequin, which is where a lot of great authors.
Romance. Yes,
they get their start there.
Yes.
And so I stole one from her, and she did not want me to read that because,
Right.
And so I hid it, and I hid it in the freezer because it's an RV. There's only so many places you can hide books.
Right. True.
I never found it, and it became a running joke in the family. Like, well, did you check the freezer? It's like that book was so hot; it was cold.
It was. You had to cool it down.
I had to put it on ice. It was a Highland one too.
Oh, those, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, my parents used to send me outside because they wanted us to be playing outside, and so I would like slip the book under my shirt and in the back of my jeans so that I could sneak it outside so that I could read.
Your parents knew what you were doing.
I'm sure.
They're like,
I was
not worth the effort.
I was the kid with the flashlight under the sheets in the middle of the night. Absolutely. So
I'll admit it. My kids all wear glasses, and I would take the glasses away from them when they went to bed, so they could read. Except for the one kid who has really, really bad eyesight, and I'm like, I can't take his glasses away. That would just be cruel and unusual punishment.
We don't want anybody falling down the hallway in the middle of the night.
That's in a bunk bed.
Oh gosh. Well, I'm glad you didn't take home.
No, my daughter used to read by the light on like those electronic, was metrodomes. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yes.
And you would read by the light of that.
That's so great, though.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome.
That level.
It really is.
That's awesome.
But
I wouldn't complain too much.
No, so. I don't really complain. It's more of an amusing anecdote that it is a
right.
I have a question. So everybody has a public bookshelf, and then they have a private bookshelf.
Right.
So what books would you put on your public bookshelf versus your private bookshelf? And then we'll get back to talking to the book you actually wrote.
So I'm actually super against not telling people what you're reading.
Good.
I just don't think that's cool. I think that you should be able to read whatever makes you smile. So I have all kinds of, I have erotic romance. I have, all of my loves are on the bookshelves behind me in my office here. So, yeah, I don't.
Well, then I'm glad I asked you that.
I don't think we should shame people for what they read. I think that if it makes you smile, then it's yours. And there's a lot of hard things in the world right now, especially. So if a book gives you an escape and some joy, then more power to you.
Well, that kind of falls into, once we had a discussion about erotica and how freeing it was, and how you've had some fans talk to you about.
Right.
Can we talk a little bit about that? Yeah.
I mean, that I have the emails that I get from my fans I cherish them. I truly do. I keep them all. They mean the world to me. And I've gotten numerous emails about that my heroines and my heroes make them feel heard. They make them feel understood. They make them maybe put away the shame that they have associated with sex or with themselves for so long, and they realize that that physical pleasure is okay. It's all right to want that. It's all right to expect that from a relationship. And if I can put that in a book and have people relate to a character on that level, then that means the world to me. I wrote a book about someone who was molested as a child, and I get so many emails thanking me for telling her story. And it was a tough story to tell. I know I spent a lot of time in tears. Had a lot of therapists read it beforehand to make sure I had done it all right, but I just think that everybody has a story, and every story, you should see yourself in a book. I just think that's so important. So
I agree. Yeah. No, and I remember we had this discussion, and I think I ended up in tears. It just, hearing people relate to it, I think, yeah, it's true. Just because it's sex,
right. There's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Right. It's really part of a relationship, right?
It is. And it's hot and it's steamy, but it's everyday life. And it doesn't have to be seen like an oil change, but it's just as normal as an oil change.
Exactly. A little prettier, but
well, maybe not really prettier.
Well, but depends on the circumstance. Yes, yeah. And
well, I mean, with these guys, yes.
Yeah. Deck was not hard to look at.
You do get a say in your covers.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Golden Mac does all the photography work, and I get to pick them, which is lots of fun. So no, but actually I was gonna say Charlotte in Standing Outside the Fire actually has a lot of she's got a lot of scarring from an incident when she was a child, and she has trouble climaxing, and that's something that they deal with in the relationship. And I didn't really want to shy away from that because I feel like that's a real thing. So I try very, very hard to be true to the character and then true to real life. Okay. Thank you.
I'll put him up here. I had a question. So you're seeing sex scenes. How do you keep them varied? Do you keep a checklist or a spreadsheet?
I don't have a spread. No, I am very anti-spreadsheet.
Okay.
Just ask my assistant. She's the spreadsheet queen.
Well, like,
I don't even want to look at them. No, they scare me. No, spreadsheets scare me. Yes. No, I think that I really just try to let the characters tell the story, and because every character is different, every sex scene is going to be different because it's coming from them. So I sometimes the choreography of it can take some time. And my editors will occasionally come back and say, we don't think this is physically possible. Maybe change it up a little.
If your editors are watching, you guys go into, like, say if it's in the bathroom, you guys go into the bathroom and you try it out, like, individually, right? You're like, if I put my leg here,
I'm gonna block the scene out.
Oh gosh, I admit it. I would totally do it.
I have to make sure. Yes, they're very
Yeah.
thorough. They're the best.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I got a question here. Oh, somebody says no.
There's one of my editors.
Okay, so we got a question. How long was Jamie in your head?
Okay, so I heard, I don't know how many country music fans we have listening, but I heard Thomas Rhett's song "Marry Me" 2 years ago, and in the song he's talking about going to his best friend's wedding and she's marrying someone else, and he's never told her how he feels about her. And I listened to the song. It was right when I think that it had just been released. It was the first time I'd heard it on the radio. And I pulled into the parking lot of where I was going, and I sat there because I wanted to hear the end of the song, because it I was going to be devastated if it didn't end with him finally telling her, and he doesn't. In the song, he doesn't tell her. And so I'm all by myself, and I'm sitting in the parking lot, and I'm like, no. So immediately Jamie Holder's story was in my head. And I think I was actually writing Wayward Son in the Camden Ranch series, and I knew that the Holders were coming next. So I even knew whose story it was going to be. So I let him brew for about 2 years, but I didn't know who his heroine was going to be. I just knew it was going to be his best friend. So Charlie took a little while longer to be fully formed, but but I would say 2 years for Jamie.
We have another, I think one of your editors here.
Okay. She's not confessing. They are the best. Though.
The best.
So whatever they're doing, they don't have to tell me. I just
Well, it's working. It's working.
Exactly.
How many books have you written now?
Okay, that's my husband's job. I think Jamie's 24. He may be 25. I'm not sure.
Wow! Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow! Can I put this to the song for you?
Yes, it is a great song. It's a gut wrenching song. It needs one more verse where he tells her. But yeah, but I can't complain because that's where the whole story came from.
Okay, so I think you kind of answered this. Let's go into it. Are you a pantser or a plotter?
I'm a pantser. I know the characters really, really well, and I have the ending scene in my head, like down to the wire, down to what they're wearing, down to everything, and I'm writing to that scene. But no, I sometimes know what I'm going to write that day. But I've even like written out scenes that I plan to write that day, and they'll change it in the middle. So no, it's their story. I'm just writing it for them. Honestly, it's like they have bad handwriting or something, and I'm just their typist.
What's your
plan nothing?
What's your writing schedule like?
Well, before quarantine, I would try to write while my kids were at school, and they were both in high school, so it was a good long time. And then right before deadline, I'm typically pulling some 60, 80-hour weeks. But the first half of the book is always way slower for me than the second half, because I have all the things in place and I know everybody and all of that. So I typically write 9 to 4. But now my kids are home and it's a little bit different. But it just try to either be playing with the character or playing with plot or whatever, or actually writing most days.
So, what are you working on right now?
So I am writing Wes Holder's novel, which is Jamie's brother. Wes was in Standing Outside the Fire. He helps Charlie and Jamie escape. And so Wes Holder and Scarlett Johansson, which is, it's fun. It's she's trying to make it in Nashville, and it'll be a very fun story. It's got it's very twisty. So I'm excited to get further in it.
Very cool. Very cool. What can you give us a hint on what song this one's based on?
Every Girl in This Town by Trisha. Hi, Erin. Yeah, so that'll be the title as well. So.
Every Girl in This Town. So okay, so we got 3 in this one. This series?
3 so far, yeah.
3 so far. So, and I know you're really involved in the writing, the publishing, the covers.
Right.
Can you talk
I'm
a little
control freak.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I mean, I know I jokingly say I'm a control freak, but I enjoy the creative side and I enjoy the business side. So it's a really good combination. So because I think indie authors you're running your own business. But I like being able to look at the data and make decisions and be able to change them immediately or to be able to try something out. I was able to put Camden Ranch series in KU for quarantine because I know people need an escape. And so it was something I could do to just help my fans and to give people that those moments behind the gates of Camden Ranch where there's no COVID and there's no quarantine. And I just feel like I so appreciate the ability to make those calls. So I have never submitted to a publisher. I've never tried. I like it. I'm very, very blessed to be, in a time when I have that option. So,
No, and I talked to a lot of authors and I've talked to some publishers and I think your experience is unique because a lot of people they're very stressed by it and you're very in control and you're very confident and I'm going to do this and this is what works and I'm going to do this cover. And a lot of authors are like, oh, I've got to get this done and this is my timetable and I hope they like it. We'll see. But every time I talk to you, you seem like you have way less stress when it comes to the other authors who are doing it in a more traditional way.
Everything has its moments, trust me. I just, I really try to listen to my gut. I am such a romance reader. I do feel like I understand the industry because I have read the industry for decades. And there's, I enjoy learning new things. I'm very, very blessed in that I had the opportunity to it didn't have to be a success right out the door. And I think so many people don't have that option.
Or they're not patient.
So, it is a marathon. It's not a sprint. The people that think that they're going to write one book and become a millionaire, that's not how it works. Every overnight success is a decade in the making. It really
Everybody wants to write Harry Potter, but
right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's, I think that, you just try to make the best educated decisions you can make. But I always come back to the characters. It always has to be true to the character. I'm never going to, I don't write to market. I don't do that. I just, that's not in me. It has to be an authentic thing for me to be able to do it. So.
Well, they say romance writers write the best characters.
I think so.
They're character-driven plots. It's about what's going on in their head, what they feel, and they're the ones and writers who start in romance and they move on to other things that are not romance-driven, but they're the ones that have the best character development. And people are like, wow, those are the really great writers.
Right.
So who did I see? Kristen Hanna. I watched her in an interview and somebody gave her a snit because she started as a romance author and she almost jumped off the stage and
good for her. Good for her.
It's like, I am proud that I got my roots in romance.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and it's such a deep inside subgenre. It's such a it's such a soul. You need a soul in those characters. And I think that's why it's why it continues to be the top selling fiction genre. I think it it has that heart. It has the pulse that people are looking for. So
smartest people I know write and read romance. Seriously.
I don't think I would ever write anything else. I just love it too much. I do. And I want a happily ever after. Everybody deserves that.
Especially
And
right now.
I want to give that. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, let's go back to the book that we're supposed to be talking about.
Yes, ma'am.
So how is this one different from the other books you wrote?
Oh goodness.
Yeah. A little vague question for you. Go ahead and throw it in.
They're all so different because
Yeah.
the characters are so different.
Okay, let's do it this. How is this different from the other ones in the series?
So Ford, which is Oklahoma Sky, which was the first, but he was recently divorced. His wife had been cheating on him for years. He really was just kind of burned out on even the idea of having a woman anywhere near his ranch in terms of him. And Callie just sort of came in, and she came in like a wrecking ball. She just, she was just, I don't know, Callie's kind of magic to me. And so, it was such a whirlwind romance for them. But with Jamie and Charlie, and Standing Outside the Fire, they've been friends for not 30 years, but 20 years. And I very rarely will do a prologue, but I did a prologue in this book because I wanted you to see them as kids. I wanted you just to get that one moment of them at 12 years old. And it did come back that day. It came back to be talked about in the book. But Ford is, he's the oldest Holder child. He carries that weight of that ranch on his shoulders. And Jamie does too, to a point, but not anything like his big brother does. And you can tell that he wasn't the oldest. He had that protectiveness of his big brother. And he grew up under that shield. And it made him a little bit more reckless, maybe. It didn't. He kept thinking he had time, and then she was getting married, and he was out of time. So I write such character-driven novels that they're all so different because every character is so different in my head. But I think that you can definitely tell Ford and Jamie are brothers. I know you can tell Wes and Jamie are. They're just the way that they cut up, which I enjoy. I love writing the family dynamic, and I get lots of reviews about. They feel like that you've sat down at the table with the Holders or the Camdens, so that's fun for me.
What I like is that you refer to your characters that to you they're people. They're not characters.
Yes, very much. Very, very much. They are very alive in my head.
See, most people see somebody for that, and you just write it. I love
right. It. No, I'm okay with it. You can either be a writer or go to a padded room, so I'm going to do the writer thing.
Let's see,
I hear the voices in my head.
Can you share a little bit about your research for your novels, including this one?
Sure. So this, Charlie is an occupational therapist. And one of my dearest friends is also an occupational therapist. So she very sweetly answered my 350 text questions about all the things. And then she read it for me before it went out to ARC readers. Jamie being a firefighter, that was a fair amount of research. My brother was actually a firefighter before he was in the Marine Corps, so I did a lot of phone calls to him. He put me in contact with people who are still currently firefighters that are friends of his. So I sent them emails of questions, and they all sweetly answered them for me. I intended to go see a fire station and actually talk to the people there, and then we were under quarantine. So maybe if we decide to continue the series with the Holder County firefighters, I will definitely do that in the future. But lots of specific questions. Which foam do you use to put out a gas fire? I tried to be really, really on point, but I always think that going to people who have the job that you're writing about is the best way, because they live it, they know it, it's a part of them, and I wanted it to be a part of Charlie. So
well, if you ever need somebody to tell you about the book
a
industry,
bookstore owner, I absolutely will. I will give you a call.
the best thing about your books is how much you backstory the characters. It's so detailed. You feel you get to know the people like you know them so well at the end of the book.
Thank you. I try not to do backstory dumps. I try to weave it throughout.
So you don't realize you're getting the backstory.
Right. That's always the goal. But I think that it's so important for authors to understand that these people, they didn't just leap into existence on the opening page of that book. They bring their history with them, and that history dictates what is going to occur on those pages. So I do always try to be very mindful of where they're coming from and how their pasts are going to affect the decisions they make about the present and the future. So I do. I try to give you the full arc, because their arc started before the book starts, right? So.
All right. Well, I guess we'll just wrap this up, because we've been doing this really good. We got 30 minutes, and I was thoroughly entertained.
Well, good.
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
Anything you want to add other than buy the books, people?
Buy them from y'all.
Buy them from me.
She has them all. Yeah,
I do, and we can get them signed. I'm sure we can figure something out.
Absolutely. Yeah, surely.
I'm sure we can figure something out.
Drop them off or something.
Drop them off. I can drop them off at your
Leave
door.
them on my porch, and then I'll sign them. Yeah,
I'll come back in like an hour.
Yeah.
Back up
we will figure it out.
We can figure it out. We can figure it out.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Jillian, for joining me here today.
Thank you for having me.
One more question.
Okay.
What makes your decision as to when the series ends?
So I didn't want to end the Camdens. I loved them. I loved the whole family of that, but I was out of kids. So that is what made me decide to make the Holder family so huge. And I'm so very blessed that people really, they dig into my series and they really do want to read all the books, no matter how long the series kind of goes on. Once I'm in a series, I very rarely want it to end. So, that the decision to end with the Camdens only came because I was out of kids, like I said.
Reminds me of,
I didn't feel like I could grow any more up out of the ranch.
Remember Nora Roberts?
The Holders can go on a long time. So,
do you remember Nora Roberts' series, The McGregors? Did you ever read those?
Yeah.
They had so many kids.
And cousins. Yes. Yes.
And children who would just show up out of nowhere. But you know what? I read every single one of them. And I was terrified that Nora would just be like, it'd be great if we just killed this elder McGregor. And I was like, and she didn't. I don't think she did. I stopped reading them because I was terrified. I loved this character so much. Yeah.
No, I don't. I intend to write the Holders for a long, long time. So, and the Halo boys. So yeah, we have, and they just keep hiring people on at tier 7. So I just can keep it going. That's a little easier. That's a little more legitimate. I can have you hire people. It's easier than creating more kids.
You're gonna ride them so long, they're gonna start retiring. They're gonna have retirement parties.
Fine. I think it's okay.
And your characters are gonna start having kids, and then they're gonna hire on the kids, and that's like a plan.
No, but I think that and the ability, I have a lot of ability with the Holder County to branch it off, like I said, to the fire department or to the older Holder generations or whatever. I think that would be, I think that the opportunity exists there. So I hope to be in Holder County, Oklahoma for a long, long time. As long as my fans are happy there, then I will remain. So
I think they're very happy.
Thank you.
I think they
I
are.
hope so. I hope they are.
All right, guys. Well, if you guys are interested in Jillian's books, we have them. She also has a really good Facebook group if you guys want to join. I'm just suggesting it. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that, but she
Absolutely, of course.
she does have a
Everybody
really good.
can.
Come on in, it's a party.
It is a party, always. All the cowboys.
All the cowboys. All right, guys.
Thank you
Well,
so much for
thank you
having
for tuning
me.
in. Please support your local businesses, especially your
Yep.
local independent bookstores. If it's not me, find one nearby. We are still here and we are still open. So
Yes.
come and find us.
Curbside, yes.
Curbside, local delivery, and we ship. So,
Awesome.
all right.
There you go.
Good night,
All right.
guys.
Bye.